Welcome everyone to today's Hedera community call. I'm Luke from Hashgraph DevRel team. Today we're joined by Brandon from SaucerSwap and Patricia from SentX. Brandon, could you give us a little intro, please?
Yeah, sure. So some of you guys might know me. I do a show covering the whole community in general, everything that's going on in the Hedera ecosystem every week. But I've just joined the SaucerSwap team. I'm a longtime user of the SaucerSwap DEX, but here today to talk about the features that SaucerSwap currently has and the things that we have coming up in the roadmap.
Awesome. Thanks very much. And Patricia?
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here. Hi, Brandon. I'm Luke. And I'm here from SentX, and we are going to talk about all the exciting things happening in the NFT ecosystem right now on Hedera.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Brandon, could you give us a little bit of intro about SaucerSwap? Someone seeing it for the first time. What is SaucerSwap?
Sure. Well, it's a decentralized exchange, and the key word there is exchange. So the main function of it is to be able to swap the tokens of all the different tokens that are built on Hedera. And there's all kinds of them out there. The numeraires, the ones that are used as the main mediums of exchange, are the native currency for Hedera, the H bar, and then the main stable token that we have on Hedera, USDC. Another one that is kind of a numeraire is the native token of SaucerSwap, which is Sauce. But that's the main thing, trading tokens back and forth. But the difference between a DEX and a centralized exchange is not only do the users provide the liquidity by providing liquidity pairs, but they actually benefit from it by getting most of the fees that are generated by trading it, where certainly no problem with that, but centralized exchanges, those fees go into their own business models to support their own platform, with a DEX, which is supported through the smart contracts of those liquidity pools. So it's completely decentralized, all bearer assets, but those fees that are generated actually go back to the people that are providing the liquidity in the first place.
Oh, awesome. Thanks very much for that overview. It's really cool. I've used SaucerSwap a little bit myself as well. Really, really cool to see. And in terms of V1 and V2 liquidity pools that you touched on there quickly, could you tell us a little bit more about those?
Sure. So when the users provide liquidity, those that are providing liquidity to allow others to trade, you supply amounts of tokens. And in version 1, you supply equal value amounts of 2 tokens. We'll say it's H bar and, again, the native token of SaucerSwap, Sauce. They mark them to market, and you provide equal amounts of each. And you cover the entire span of the different prices between those two assets. That's certainly good to have a deep liquidity pool that will cover all those prices if there's sharp movements or things along those lines. But you also want to have a lot of liquidity right around where it's trading right now, and that's where version 2 comes in. You can supply liquidity for version 2, and it's concentrated liquidity. So it's just around where the price is right now. But that's determined by those that are providing the liquidity. And to incentivize people on top of those fees that are generated, and just to give a little bit of an overview of the fees themselves, the fee on SaucerSwap is 0.3%. 0.25% of that goes to the liquidity providers, and then 1/6, 0.05%, actually goes to the platform to support everything that we do. But getting back to how you're providing that liquidity, in version 2, you're providing that concentrated liquidity, and to incentivize people to do that, of course, the fees that I just mentioned are one of the things to incentivize them. But we also have farming. Now, you might have heard of farming in the decentralized exchange space. That's pretty much in version 1. You are staking the liquidity tokens, which are in the form of an NFT, which represents your percentage of the liquidity pool. You stake those, and you get benefits for that. Right now, you get it. We're emitting across all of the different liquidity pools about 230 sauce per minute and about 0.78 H bar per minute. And then in addition, for version 2, because it's a little bit different mechanism, you're providing that concentrated liquidity. We have something called LARI rewards. That's liquidity aligned rewards incentives. And we do that per epoch. So every 2 weeks that you're providing liquidity for those pools, we have different amounts that will be distributed over that time. Now, right now for this epoch, I think we have about 450,000 sauce that's being emitted, 62,500 HBAR, and then I believe a little over 500,000 in pack. So that's being distributed as well. The way they're distributed is a little bit different as well. So with version 1, when you either remove the liquidity, you automatically get it, or you can harvest those rewards whenever you'd like. With the version 2, the LARI rewards, you're getting those when at the end of that 2-week period. So it's just automatically airdropped into your wallet. So it's pretty simple. It does take a little bit of a learning curve. You have to understand how all this stuff works. And it's not the same across each one of these liquidity pools for each one of these pairs. We provide different incentives depending on what that liquidity pool is. If we want more liquidity for a certain pool, and a lot of this is dictated, when I say we, is dictated in a decentralized way, because the sauce token, again, the native token for SaucerSwap, is also a governance token. So depending on how much sauce you have determines your votes on where these different rewards go. So that's the main thing around supplying liquidity on the platform.
No, that sounds really cool. And in terms of LARI rewards, can you exchange those for H bars? How do they work? Are they sent to your wallet, or are they stored on SaucerSwap?
Well, yeah, the LARI is just what we call it. It's not a token itself. And as I mentioned, it's distributed in the form of sauce each epoch. And like I said, it's 450,000 sauce for this epoch, 62,000 HBAR. So that's just regular HBAR that's going into your wallet that you can use for whatever you'd like. And then we also have PAC. So PAC has decided that's the native token for the main wallet in the space, HashPAC. And they're just using some of their tokens from their treasury to supply rewards for those that are supplying liquidity for their pairs. So HBAR and PAC, or USDC and PAC, but just those pairs. And that's an option for other teams as well that want to distribute some of their tokens by incentivizing people to supply liquidity for these pools. They could do something similar.
Okay, no, that sounds really cool. And as a new user who wants to get involved and learn about SaucerSwap and provide liquidity to some of these pools, how can they get started?
Yeah, just going to the website, you can learn an awful lot. You can go to SaucerSwap.finance. So that's the site. You can just kind of walk through it. But the steps of getting involved, are going to require a few different things. Right now, the best way to do it is to get a HashPAC wallet or another wallet in the ecosystem. And that's going to allow you to connect to the website and be able to supply liquidity, trade tokens, and so forth. But you are going to have to bring some liquidity over if you're going to want to trade. The easiest way probably to do that is through the HBAR. It's traded on all kinds of different centralized exchanges. You can get it. And then once you've gotten your account for HashPAC, you can just send it to it. And it's a lot easier than those long alphanumeric accounts that you might see on Ethereum or something like that. They're really simple accounts, 0.0.1234567, something like that. You just send the HBAR to that HashPAC. It's already, or once it's been connected to SaucerSwap, you can go ahead and interact with the platform. You could also do it through USDC, that native stable token I was talking about. And those can be acquired for the Hedera version of USDC on Binance and crypto.com. So those two centralized exchanges pretty much cover the entire world. So if you wanted to come in just using a US dollar representative, that would be the way to go.
Awesome. No, thanks very much for the in-depth explanation of SaucerSwap. Sounds really cool. And Patricia, could you give us a little bit of info about SentX and what you guys do over there?
Absolutely. So SentX is the leading marketplace on the Hedera network. We started our activity 3 years ago, maybe a bit over 3 years, with the launchpad at the time. And then we started including more and more features. So now we have the marketplace, we have the launchpad, we have AI creation tools for the ones that like to play with that as well. So we end up adding a lot more to the platform, growing it. And fortunately, the community appreciates what we did. And we arrived at this stage of being able to say that we are the leading marketplace on the Hedera network, and it's something that it's really a proud moment for us, because we started really small and never imagined to be at this stage right now.
Awesome. No, glad to hear it. And in terms of Forever Mint, how has it been used by projects like Dead Pixels, for example?
Yeah, so the Forever Mint is a mechanism that was designed by Dead Pixels, and then we developed that for them at SentX. And it's something that it's so innovative, as most of the people right now on Hedera know how that works. A project can mint literally forever, because every time that you go to the Forever Mint pool and you click the mint button, you get a random NFT. You don't know what you are getting. Is a different experience from buying from the marketplace, even if the collection is already minted out. And this is the exact purpose of Forever Mint, allowing new people arriving in the ecosystem, or people that want that excitement of the mint, to be able to keep having that excitement without having to go to the marketplace and pick an NFT from there that they know what they are buying. So it's been a lot of fun to see it live on Hedera. We have other projects that started using it already, and it has been amazing to see everyone adopting it so fast, because you know that sometimes when something is a bit different, it might have a long time to be adopted. But with Forever Mint, it was really really great to see people from the start clicking that mint button and then showing their new NFTs. And if it was a new mint event, something that it was completely new for them, and it's really good to see.
Glad to hear it. And in terms of the Launchpad and the AI Creator Suite, could you give us some more info about that? What are they?
Yes, absolutely. If you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen with you to be able to show you about our Launchpad section. So if you're at SentX, this is our homepage with information on the project and the volume. Launchpad means sales of the week, etc. But when you have here, you go to the menu, and you have here Launchpad. You can see all the active events right now. But then you have this create section, and this is for the creators. Here on overview, you can understand what it's our Dreamforge. It's the name that we call our Launchpad. We always have some different names for the things that we do over at Hedera. So our Launchpad is called Dreamforge. You have here the cost, the specs for it. Keep scrolling and you will have more information for new creators, people that are not used to this and need a bit more help on how to do it. And then you have here some examples of the interface, how you should create your collections, and go from there. And we added AI image generation at SentX, because we think it makes a lot of sense to have this as well for people that want to play with it. And as you can see here, the images that are generated with our tool are there for someone with full commercial and personal usage rights. So if you create an image with a generator at SentX, that image is yours for you to do anything you want with it.
Awesome. So they can create an AI generated image, and straight away from that same page go on to create an NFT and mint it.
Absolutely. I'm going to show you an example of that. So when you come here to create images, and this is an image that I created, and I love it because, come on. So you have here the options. You can download the image, you can send to File Manager, and when you send to File Manager is where you will find this image ready to mint as an NFT if you want, or you can add to your favorite images, and you can publish this image. And by publishing the image, you make it available for others to see the images that you generated on your gallery. So we wanted to make something fun, because we know that the artists that don't use AI, we need to value those as well, because it's real talent, real skills. But AI is here to stay. I think that at this point, someone saying that AI is going to disappear, or that AI image generation is not going to be utilized, it's not going to happen, because it's something that everyone is used to this. And you can use this to create your logo for your company. You can use it for several other things. We have also the option for video generation, and you can do almost ad likes with it. We did an ad for SentX as a test, and it was insanely good. So this is a tool that is extremely powerful, and the best thing about this is that it's a pay-per usage. So you load some HBAR on your SentX image generation. So it's like your allowance there that you have. You add some HBAR, you pay, you create your images. If you don't want to create more images, you don't need to add more HBAR. There's no subscriptions, there's no ties. You just pay what you use. And this is something great, because sometimes creators, they want to create a collection with AI and they pay a subscription to a platform, but then they forget that and they don't use it for another 4, 5, 6 months. But every month that's being deducted from their bank account. And this way, this won't happen, because you load some HBAR there, you pay, and that's it.
That's it. It's a pay-as-you-go model, so you only pay for what you use.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And then in terms of AI, are you guys working on anything to incorporate more AI into the SentX platform?
We have plans for the future, yes, and we are going to also do some changes to our platform in terms of UI, UX, make things a bit easier for new users as well. And we are growing our dev team. This is something that we were finally able to do this year, so that's amazing as well, because we are going to have a lot more manpower to be working on SentX, and we'll be able to launch things a lot faster. And this is beneficial for us, it's beneficial for users, so it's a win-win situation, really.
Awesome. And then for someone who's completely new to NFTs, is there a starting place that they can go to learn about the platform, learn about NFTs, learn about Hedera? Or have you got a Discord? Or is it all on site?
Yes. We have a Discord server for people to join, and they can ask questions in our general chat. They can open tickets. The link to our Discord is on our X page at SentX_IO. And we prefer that people follow that link from our X page, because there's a lot of scams and people trying to trick others by sending fake links and all that. So if you want the link to our Discord and joining our Discord, you can definitely go there to our X page and follow. And I wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to talk a bit about numbers, because this is important as well for people that are watching this stream and are new to Hedera, and for them to see that, in fact, the Hedera NFT scene is growing and we are having more adoption. So over the past 30 days, we have 986 new users at SentX, and I'm not talking about people that connected to SentX 2 years ago and now came back. This is really unique users. So it's something that is great to see, that in such a short time, like 30 days, we are seeing more users, we are seeing more mints, more sales. In terms of volume, for the past 30 days, we have almost 15 million HBARs in terms of volume on SentX. So this is really good metrics to see, and this is all verifiable information. We take all our data straight from the hash graph, so everything is there for anyone to consult if they wish, and it's a good place for people to start. They can go to SentX, click here on our menus, and then start seeing everything that we have here in terms of things that they can do in the marketplace, the NFT manager for their collections, and to see the NFTs that they have, the launchpad with the current launches. We have a rewards section as well, because we started using a share of our profits to buy NFTs from ecosystem collections. Then we put those NFTs from those collections in a dedicated SentX store, and people can buy those NFTs at a discount with the SentX token that they earn from utilizing SentX.
Nice. And in terms of utilizing SentX and gaining that reward token, is that similar to LARI and SaucerSwap, where if you're buying and selling NFTs, is that how you get the token?
Yes. So when you do any thing at SentX, like buying, selling, or minting an NFT, you get 0.02 SentX per each HBAR traded. So the amount of SentX that you get depends on the amount of SentX that you are using for a mint or for buying an NFT. And then you can claim that SentX, and you can use it, like I said, on the reward store to buy more NFTs. We have magic items that can be bought with SentX that give added perks to the users of the platform. And then we also have our liquidity pool on SaucerSwap, and people can utilize our liquidity pool as well and provide liquidity there for the SentX token. By providing liquidity, there's extra rewards internal to SentX. Brandon, in this case, it's not via SaucerSwap because we didn't know that was that option, but we provide those internally at SentX as well for people that provide liquidity on SaucerSwap.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So people can take that SentX token and they can trade it on SaucerSwap as well and provide liquidity. That's really cool. And Brandon, in terms of AI on SaucerSwap, are you guys incorporating that at all? What's the plan? Oh, I think you might be on mute.
I am on mute. But I can share my screen as well at some point if we want to kind of just take a look at some of the stuff that we have available. There we go. All right, so just taking a look, this is the SaucerSwap site. But to get to AI, this is something that's really exciting. We have a lot of things that we're working on right now. So the next big thing that's going to be coming for us is we're going to have a native application that makes it a little bit more seamless, a little bit easier to interact with the SaucerSwap platform. We're also going to have limit orders, making things a little bit more what people are familiar with from centralized exchanges, from brokerage firms, things along those lines. And then next year, we're going to have perpetual futures. But specifically around AI, SaucerSwap should be thought of as a primitive. So the base foundation of all of this, of course, is the Hedera network. But SaucerSwap being that layer above it can be used for all kinds of different things. And developers can come up with different strategies, things that could be developed using AI. I know that Bonzo, the lending platform for Hedera, is coming up with vaults. Those are going to be things that come up with different investment strategies. And of course, nothing of what we're talking about today is financial advice. I know we're digging into all of these tokens, different opportunities, different yield opportunities. None of it's financial advice. You need to understand what you're getting involved with. But these different strategies are going to leverage all kinds of different things. It's going to allow any developer to come up with different strategies that are going to be available to the users out there. And AI is certainly going to be one of the things that's going to be leveraged in developing those different strategies. But again, talking about SaucerSwap as, again, one of the foundations right above Hedera, those liquidity pools, SaucerSwap has the most liquidity on Hedera. I think it's a little bit over $100 million worth of liquidity across all the different tokens that are traded on the network. Well, that's really important to tap into. And when I talk about the SaucerSwap.finance site, that is one of the interfaces you can use to get access to the smart contracts and those liquidity pools. But it's not the only way you can access it. You can access it through other platforms that are just starting to come to market now. One of the first ones that came to market was Ediswap. That's a DEX aggregator. So other DEXs in the Hedera ecosystem can be leveraged, trying to find you the best deal for different tokens that you might want. Now, of course, since most of the liquidity is on SaucerSwap, they're tapping into SaucerSwap more than anyone else, but they do tap into the other DEXs as well. Just launched within the past couple weeks, we had Orbit. So just like what you see here, where we can swap tokens. Well, let's see if we can find SentX. There we go. There's SentX. You can swap tokens. You can provide liquidity on this interface. You can do the same you can do other things on Orbit. So even though they're tapping into the SaucerSwap liquidity pools, they have a little bit different user interface. They've already integrated limit orders, things along those lines, which we're going to be offering here in the months to come. But we welcome other developers to create user interfaces to tap into the liquidity that SaucerSwap provides. So it's not just AI. Of course, that's a hot button thing right now, and we're going to have plenty of those opportunities here in the future. It's really using SaucerSwap for pretty much anything you want to build that needs to swap tokens in any way or provide those different investment strategies and things along those lines.
Awesome. And in terms of limit orders, how would that affect slippage, for example? Will that help eliminate slippage?
Well, there still is. Essentially what you're doing is putting in kind of like what we were talking about with version 2. You can almost set those up as limit orders now. Like you could have all one token, and as it moves through the narrow band of concentrated liquidity, it kind of acts like a limit order. The way that's being done, yes, you're pretty much waiting for the market to come to you. So you're not going to experience the same kind of slippage you do when you're directly interacting with a liquidity pool, but it's just kind of a different way to interact with the DEX itself.
Awesome. It's in terms of interacting with the DEX, is the web app the only way at the minute, or is there a plan to maybe bring out like a mobile app? Or
it is. Well, we're going to have a mobile app right here within the next few weeks. We're supposed to have our mobile app launching that, like I said, is going to allow you to more seamlessly interact with the platform. Now, that's nothing against Hashpack. It's a great wallet. You need to have a Hashpack wallet to be, or one of the other ecosystems wallets to interact with all the opportunities we have in our ecosystem. But most DEXs, if you look across the entire landscape of other platforms out there, most DEXs do have their own app, which is kind of fine-tuned for their own interface. So that's why we're going to be launching our own app.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see that. That'd be really cool. And tokens, they're such a key part of SaucerSwap's growth. How have you seen that grow on SaucerSwap? Are you seeing more fresher tokens joining?
Well, I mean, SaucerSwap itself, its success is completely dependent on the quality of the tokens that come to market. And, initially it's been growing all the time. We have, platform tokens. We talked about SentX. That's a great example of a platform token. Sauce or HST, so one of the launch pads on Hedera. Pack is another one. So that's the native token for Hashpack. So those are examples of platform tokens. And those were some of the ones that came out fairly early. Gaming tokens, we have Steam that's out there right now. HBark is another game that interacts with X. We have some that are going to be coming to market for Legends of the Past or for Circle of Games. So I'm really excited about the gaming space. And then one thing that Hedera kind of pioneered, thanks to Karate Combat, is the SportsFi tokens. And Karate Combat's the only one that's out there right now, but there's going to be additional ones coming out with, I know they have A7FL, which is going to be one of them that's coming out. We have Top Flight Football. We have World Calisthenics Organization, and that's going to actually be built on top of a layer 2 on Hedera called Up that Karate Combat is kind of pioneering. And then let's see, what are some of the other ones that I'm excited about? Internet of Things is another one, and this token isn't available quite yet, but CLSQ, and they're focused on, well, they already have, I think, 17 or 19 Pico satellites that are in orbit. And what their token is going to allow you to do using this constellation that's already in orbit is the transfer of value between items, objects. The CEO of CLSQ, which is a NASDAQ traded company, he says, of course, we want to onboard the next billion users, but we also want to onboard the next trillion objects. And they already have hundreds of millions, if not billions, of objects that already have their chips embedded that are ready for this transactional Internet of Things. Some of the objects include, I think it's 21 million smart meters that are going to be deployed in the UK. So things like that, where these objects will actually use this seal token to transfer between themselves. So that one's another one that I'm really excited about. Of course, memes. The original meme on Hedera is Grelf, but what kind of took memes on Hedera to the next level was something called memedrop.fund. So it's a platform, a launch pad specifically for meme coins. And we have a lot more now. I can think Jeet was one that just launched recently. Gib, I think, is the biggest one that we have out there. Dino, go down the line. We have plenty of memes out there as well. And then, as I mentioned, we have stablecoins. The biggest one undoubtedly is USDC, but there are more coming to market all the time. Another one that can be considered a stable token is Carrot, which is actually backed by physical diamonds. And I mean, we could go down the line. There's going to be a lot more things coming out. And the next thing that I'm looking forward to is traditional finance tokens, but I'll leave it there for a second.
Yeah, no, that sounds really cool. And in terms of the meme job launchpad for tokens, I think once they sort of reach a certain point, it then goes and creates a liquidity pool all automatically on SaucerSwap and allows users to trade that token on SaucerSwap, right?
Exactly. So essentially what that platform does is as soon as enough liquidity has built up around one of those meme tokens, it automatically creates that liquidity pool on SaucerSwap. So that's what makes it kind of seamless and a lot easier. And it's not just pure memes that can leverage that platform. It's just a way to easily spin up a token. An example is Smack Mosquito. It's a game that's been built on top of Hedera that lets all kinds of token issuers leverage that game, create custom levels on that game, and they launch their token through MemeJob as well. So even though they do use it as a meme, it's also to support the game that they've created. So it can be used in a lot of different ways.
And is that something SaucerSwap are seeing a lot of when it comes to gaming, for example, like Earthlings? Are they integrated with SaucerSwap? Have they got a token on SaucerSwap?
Of course, it's called Steam, and they're one of the teams. Full disclosure, I am an advisor for the Earthlings team, but it just kind of resonates with me. And it's natural to have both NFTs and fungible tokens. Games already have points. They already have in-game currency. They already have in-game assets. So to tokenize those and make them bearer assets where you can trade those on things like SentX, on things like SaucerSwap, and trade them for other value much more seamlessly, it's a no-brainer. I mean, and that's, the big things that Earthlings has done. They have land, they have avatars, they have different tools you can use in the game. All of those things are traded on SentX. And then the main in-game currency, they have a banking system and everything else is Steam itself. And that's going to be traded on SaucerSwap.
That's a huge integration between the two. So the tokens available on SaucerSwap and then the NFTs are available on SentX.
Yep.
Awesome. Good stuff. And Patricia, in terms of SentX, I believe there's offers on unlisted NFTs. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
We are always trying to innovate in terms of what people can do and the type of things that can do with the platform. And something that we added a while back was exactly that, offers on unlisted NFTs. Because sometimes you have the NFT in your wallet, you even forget you have it, but someone else might want to buy it. And if you didn't have the NFT listed, there was no option for someone to place an offer on it. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys once more to show you how this works. I'm going to go here to top collections. So we have here that Pixels Ghost Club. Everyone knows this collection on Hedera pretty much. And if you change here, for example, to the Explorer, and you move to rarity, imagine that you want to see the rare ones, and you see, for example, this cool ghost that you love, it's not listed. So before we added this feature, you had no option. You would have to go and check the listed ones. But when we added this feature a while back, now you can also make an offer. You just click here, make offer, and you see the minimum amount of H bars that you can offer for this NFT, because it's based on trade orders for skin golds. So it's a percentage of that. It's a bit below a trade order, and then we have a rarity markup for the rare NFTs. And this way, you receive here an offer for an NFT that you don't even have listed. And if you use Hashpack, you will receive a notification inside Hashpack on that little envelope where you receive your airdrops. there will be a notification that you have an offer for an NFT that you have, and you can click on that notification. It takes you to SentX. You see if it's something that interests you or not, and you can sell an NFT that you have on your wallet, unlisted, probably even already forgotten about it because it was an NFT from 2 or 3 years ago, or even more.
Oh wow, that's really cool. So if I was to buy an NFT, for example, forget about it, someone could find that on SentX if it's part of a collection that they're trying to collect all the NFTs for, and send me a notification to buy it from me and provide an offer, and it would just work seamlessly, and I can sell that through the marketplace.
Absolutely.
Awesome. That sounds really, really cool. I think in terms of questions, I think we've had one question come through from the Necro Cannon on YouTube, asking what programming language would I need to learn to start building on Hedera? Python, Solidity, Golang. I'd love to start building on Hedera. To answer that question, we have a Discord server. There's loads of devs on there. They all help each other. So feel free to join the Discord and ask questions there. We have a developer playground, which is a great place for getting started. That integrates with all of our SDKs. JavaScript, for example, you can create an account on there, and you can then have a play around and try the different calls and see which language you'd like to start building in. And then from there, we've got some great developer docs as well that you can go through, and you can start to integrate with Hedera. Brandon, in terms of TradFi and DeFi, what's the difference between the two? Why should people be excited over DeFi over TradFi?
Sure. Well, I mean, it started out, and this goes for both SentX and the NFT platforms and the DEX platforms, like what we have at SaucerSwap. Hold on one second. I'm trying to share a screen here. That's all right. There we go. So it started, and I think what we've seen with the NFT platforms, with the DEXs, is it's been a proof of concept of what's possible. And I always thought that the big exchanges out there, the NASDAQs and the New York Stock Exchanges and FTSE and on down the line, they would look at what was possible with these DeFi platforms and say, we can do that too. And they would tokenize their assets and so forth. But what we're seeing right now, and I have the site up right now, is we had a team that, working with the Hedera Foundation, is going to allow you to make stocks initially DeFi ready. And when I first heard that, I did an interview with the CEO of Swarm. I thought that this was going to be some kind of walled garden where, yes, you could tokenize the assets, possibly provide liquidity, but it was going to be in a very controlled environment. That's not necessarily going to be the case. We've experienced a big shift and embracing of these platforms over the past year from a regulatory perspective. We live in a very different environment compared to where we were last year. And I asked Philip, the CEO of Swarm, are these assets going to be in those walled gardens, or what do you mean by DeFi ready? And he said, once you've KYC'd, created this, the assets, it could be, stock for Apple or Coinbase or whatever it might be, then it's a bearer asset. It's in your wallet and you can do whatever you'd like with it. And if a DEX allows you to create liquidity with it, you're more than welcome to go ahead and create liquidity with it. This is a completely new paradigm. This is something that I actually did not see coming. And it allows platforms like SaucerSwap to be direct competitors to things like the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange. Of course, they're going to be successful and figure out ways to tokenize and leverage this technology as well. But there is a lot of reasons why people would lean toward using DEXs. One of them being that the people that are providing liquidity, the community members themselves, are the ones to benefit most. Something like Coinbase or something like NASDAQ, they have their own business structure and they're going to benefit. Their shareholders are going to benefit most from it, where it's going to be the token holders for the native tokens. It's going to be the liquidity providers that are the ones that get the most benefit if you are going to trade these assets on something like a DEX. And it's going to be much more seamless. So you might be trading back and forth SentX or HBAR or USDC. You might want to go to USDC in some cases, if you're concerned about the market dropping or something along those lines. Or you might want to trade into something like the SPY, an ETF that represents the Fortune 500. And getting those kind of liquidity pools on something like SaucerSwap is going to be really invaluable. And there's going to be a big shift in the years and decades to come. There's going to be a wealth transfer like we've never seen before, as the baby boomers leave their assets to the younger generations. And those younger generations are going to be much more comfortable with providing liquidity, and they're going to want to benefit from maybe Apple stock that they get, or the SPY, or whatever asset it might be, because it's going to start with stocks with Swarm, but it's going to move to a lot of other things as well. Another thing that Hedera has a tremendous moat with is carbon credits, right? And I expect those to end up on things like SaucerSwap as well. Is there a direct line? Do we know they're going to come in, the near future? No, but I think eventually that's certainly going to happen. So the fact that SaucerSwap could be a direct competitor to some of these legacy massive exchanges out there really has me excited.
Also, in terms of the carbon credit side of things on SaucerSwap, is Dovu currently on SaucerSwap?
I knew I had missed something when I was talking about the tokens, and Dovu is one that has been doing really well. It's a real world application. They're providing services for that refi market, the regenerative finance market, and carbon credits are a huge part of that. One of the projects they recently worked on was end-of-life vehicle recycling and carbon credits that are generated through that. And when you use their platform, the fuel for their platform is that Dovu token. So a great way to get exposure if you believe in the Hedera Guardian and our refi ecosystem, which really is the most developed across all of Web3. Dovu is a great way to do that. But I do expect the carbon credits themselves to eventually find their way onto things like SaucerSwap as well.
Awesome. Really excited to see that, and really excited to see the RWA side of things on SaucerSwap as well. That'd be really good to see. I think we may have some other questions here as well. I think we've had a question from YouTube on crypto adoption. What is the progress of the Hedera hackathon? You might need to be a little bit more specific on that one. We currently have two Hedera hackathons going on at the minute. We have the Hedera Africa hackathon, and we also have our Ascensions hackathon, or the Hello Future hackathon as well.
Yep.
So if you could let us know, and then I can be a little bit more specific on that. And Brandon, in terms of the future of DeFi on Hedera, what does that look like? Is that going to be going down more the RWA route, or what else can you foresee?
I think it's going to be both. I think that the traditional Web3 space, the degens, all of the tokens that we're seeing that I talked about in the beginning, I think that's going to continue to grow. But I do think the RWA space and the lines between traditional finance and DeFi, they're going to blur over time. And it's going to be a much more efficient world. It's going to allow much more inclusivity. People that weren't able to participate in capital markets before, they're going to be able to participate, and that really does unlock, just giving them the ability to participate in the capitalist systems of the world is going to unlock the potential of literally billions of people around the world. They're going to be able to invest in ways that they never were able to do before, and participate in these markets in a way that helps their life, and in turn, because they can produce a lot more, it's going to help pretty much everybody around the world. So just excited across the board.
As am I. Yeah, it's in the last few years alone, it has literally flown, and it's really cool to see all of the adoption taking place and where we're going to end up. I think we've had a comment as well about the Hedera Discord, saying it's an invalid invite link. If you go to hedera.com/Discord, that should bring up a link as well, and should redirect you over to the Discord there. There we go. It should be up on the screen now.
I will say if anybody has any questions about any tokens in particular, or anything that they're interested about in SaucerSwap, you guys are more than welcome to put them up there. I cover the entire space, so I'm more than happy to answer any questions you guys might have. And I am excited about that African hackathon. It's the largest hackathon that we've had within Hedera. The initial prize pool was $1 million in the prize pool, but now they have an additional $1 million in follow-on investment. And they're not just looking for innovation. I know a lot of times in hackathons, we do focus on innovation, but they're looking for just viable businesses, things that can come to Hedera that are going to, add to the Hedera ecosystem, but are essentially going to be sustainable. And, whether that's been built on another network and we need it here, or even if we already have something like that here, we want you guys to participate in that. You still have, I think, about 2 weeks to participate. So that's completely wide open. Luke right now has that website up. You can go ahead and participate there. There is a quick course that you have to take if you want to jump on there. It's only about a 10-hour course, but it gets you started on Hedera. But anybody who's familiar with building on these platforms can get involved. Now, one of the other nice things about this hackathon is in Africa, they have hacking stations. So they have help for you in person. I think they have 19 or 20 different locations where you can participate in that. So it is getting toward the end of it. It's been running for about 6 weeks, but we have another 2 weeks left. So if you want to jump in and participate in that one, it's certainly worth it.
Awesome. Thanks for picking that up, Brandon. I can see Crypto Adoption has thanked you for that as well. So that's great. In terms of SaucerSwap, there was one question I'd seen as well about providing liquidity and staking as well, because you can stake on SaucerSwap, can't you, as well as provide liquidity. What's the difference between the two, and what's the benefits of each one?
Sure. So with providing liquidity, you're getting that 0.25% fee, and that's providing two different assets in a pair. Staking, there's a couple different ways you can look at it. From the farming perspective, where you're staking your liquidity tokens and getting rewarded for that. And then there's something called single-sided staking. So some of the fees that are collected out of that 0.05%, and for some of the regular emissions of the native token for SaucerSwap in the form of sauce, is paid out in that single-sided staking. And essentially, it's a liquid staking solution. We have that for HBAR from Stater with HBAR-X, and then we have that for SaucerSwap as well, where you put your sauce into the platform or into the single-sided staking, and then you get X sauce in return. And that X sauce increases in sauce value over time. It's another way to provide incentives for that native token for the SaucerSwap platform.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of, you mentioned before about using Source to vote on things. Can you still vote when you're holding Source X, for example?
Yes, you can still use that to represent. I don't have all of the details around that in my head off the bat, but yes, you can use either Sauce or X Sauce to participate in the governance of the platform.
Awesome. Thanks very much. And Patricia, in terms of SentX, is there, with the SentX token, is there any kind of voting rights with that? Are they able to stake the token through SentX?
For the token, what we have is those rewards associated with providing liquidity, with the fact that you can buy NFTs at a discount with the SentX tokens, or buy NFTs that give you perks. In this case, it's more of a claim, because we are going to assume that you earn the SentX from trading on the platform, so you're not buying the token to buy those NFTs. So you can claim those rewards almost for free if you have all your SentX from the platform. We don't have a voting mechanism for the token. It's something that we thought about, but never got around in terms of really structuring it, having into place. It's something that we can look for the future as well. For the time being, SentX is pure reward token, in the sense that you earn it from trading on the platform, and then you can utilize it to claim those NFTs at a discount, those magic items for extra perks on the platform. And if you provide liquidity, you earn more SentX for providing that liquidity on SaucerSwap.
Awesome, thanks very much. And in terms of the sort of the roadmap for SentX, is there anything that's in the pipeline that you're really excited for that you want to tell us about?
So many things. Like I mentioned before, the fact that we are growing the dev team is going to allow us to do so much more and faster. That as of now, we did a lot. Of course, the platform is full of features, but we have such a huge list of things that we want to do. And top of my head, I don't think there's one that I can leak yet, because we try to talk about things when we are closer to have them complete. We don't like that type of situation of something is coming and it's something that the community will wait for 2 or 3 or 4 months. So usually we mention a new feature when we are at a couple of days of launching it. So at this point, I don't have anything good to share, but I know that there's a lot of good things being worked on, and another huge amount of things on our to-do list.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing those evolve and hit the ecosystem. If there's any more questions that people would like to ask, please feel free to stick them in the chat. We're running out of time here, so it'd be great to see some questions that we can ask Patricia and Brandon. Brandon, have you got anything else you want to say to the ecosystem while you're here?
Well, while we are getting towards the end of things here, I will say that this is not financial advice, but for me, if I'm curious about something, I have to get out there and use it. And the best way to do that with Hedera DeFi is to either get HBAR, we'll just say get HBAR or USDC on those platforms I mentioned before, put those into a hashback wallet after getting a hashback wallet, of course, and then interacting with these platforms, whether that's SentX, whether that's Kabila, whether that's SaucerSwap or Orbit or whatever it may be. Just interact with these platforms, see what they have to offer, get familiar with it, because I think it's going to be a lot more important as we go into the future. Another thing that I want to throw out there is something just launched today that I think is a really good place to start as well, and it's hbar.guide. It was put out by Brady and the Bonzo Finance team. Actually, it's the DeFi Alliance, which SaucerSwap is part of, and Bonzo Finance, the lending platform on Hedera, is part of. But it has all kinds of stuff, from wallets to talking about the HBAR to talking about the DEXs on Hedera to talking about NFTs and so forth. So if you want a one-stop shop to figure out how to interact with the Hedera DeFi ecosystem, hbar.guide.
Awesome. Thanks very much. Patricia, have you got any closing comments here that you'd like to share with the community?
I want to thank all of our users, because this happens because of them. If it wasn't for the community, for the users on the several platforms, the new ones coming in right now, we wouldn't be here right now, none of us, in terms of projects. So those are really important people for our development, for our long-term longevity as well. So I want to thank everyone that is using Hedera projects right now, even if it's trading NFTs and buying tokens, utilizing the platforms to trade them. They are really important for us, and I want to invite people to really follow us on X, our X account, to join our Discord server if they want to have a closer relationship with us, because the great thing about Hedera projects is that you can have a really close relationship with the devs, with the founders, with everyone involved in the project. And this is something that you cannot do usually outside of Web3. You cannot go to a Discord and talk to someone from Apple or the CEO or something like that. And it's things that you can do with pretty much any project on Hedera right now. So people should take advantage of that to give their ideas, their suggestions, and to help grow the projects that way.
Yeah, that's right. And it is incredible how close-knit this community is and how easy it is to reach out to people. And it's massively encouraging. And I've got a little update from Hashgraph here. So some of you may know Rob Allen. He has now joined on at Hashgraph, and he is leading the HEAT team, which is the Hedera Enterprise Adoption Team, which is really cool to see. He's going to be engaging some of the governing council members and working with companies to help them build on top of Hedera. And it's really great to see. So we have a blog post on hedera.com or hashgraph.com announcing this. I think it will show up on the screen as well, and it should be available in the comments. It's really great to see to Rob joining the team, and I think Brandon might actually be doing something with Rob tomorrow.
I just chatted with Rob about what he has going on with HEAT. Now, it's an abbreviated discussion about HEAT in particular, but that's going to be my show tomorrow. But I know there's going to be the tabletop talk next week as well, where he's going to go really into depth, everything that they're doing around HEAT. And one of the things that I have to say about that one is, of course, it's right up Rob's alley, but how could we find a better name than HEAT, right? Rob bringing the heat. There's so many ways to meme around it. I think it was the perfect name. Yeah,
no, fully agree. It was really happy to see that, and really excited to see what he helps build. Really excited. I don't think there's any questions we have left to answer, so I just want to say thanks very much to Brandon. Thanks very much, Patricia. It's been great to have you both on here and learning about everything.
My pleasure. Thank you, Luke. And looking forward to it. Just getting everybody out there, trying this stuff out, because we have a lot to come.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Brandon.
Thank you so much for the invite. And it was a real pleasure to be here with all of you.
Thanks very much. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
The need for a more interconnected world is fueling new decentralized technologies and new ways of doing business. Hedera stands at the forefront of distributed ledgers, where every interaction is not only trusted, but fast, efficient, and secure. While traditional blockchains struggle with speed and fees, Hedera's network settles transactions in under 3 seconds for a fraction of a penny. And the proof is in the numbers. Hedera is uniquely governed by a council of the world's leading institutions, ensuring transparency, trust, and decentralization. It's no wonder Hedera is the leading choice for enterprise and DeFi use cases. Everything from real-world asset tokenization to AI data integrity. Discover the only decentralized network with the governance, scalability, and security to power the new digital economy. What future will you build?